something happening in this country, and I guess now we're doing something in Venezuela with under the Trump administration. We'll go into that right now. And this is keep in mind this is our commentary on Venezuela. It's not like a analysis. We're not political scientists, so
No, we're not breaking it down. We're just not like you. We're not sure what's going on. They're calling it. What are they calling it? They're calling it arrest, and they're not calling it act of war. Some people are trying to call it an act of war, and I guess make more of it than it is. It is a big thing.
it is a big. I mean, okay, I'm going to put it in the terms that maybe some people don't understand. I know maybe you might not agree with it, but okay, how would we think about if somebody come into our country and sees our leadership? I personally welcome some of it, but I mean, I don't. I think I'd be outraged if a foreign power came into our country.
I mean, that's the way I think about it,
That's why I look at
and
it.
I don't like it in that manner. But what they're trying to say is that they were indicted, both Maduro and his wife, in 2020 by the Southern District of New York
Right.
for charges of drugs and just all kinds of things, and guns and different things.
Well, obviously, I mean, nothing happens like if something's always happened behind the scenes that we're unaware of because the news cycle and we can. Let's face it, we don't have people on the ground trying to investigate stuff. We don't have the news outlets like doing that kind of stuff. They really don't. So we don't know what's afoot going on behind us and the cause that brings us about. But now we just see the culmination of it, and I'm kind of outraged by it. In some ways, I am really. I wouldn't like it. I don't like it. But
But when you go back,
no,
it's not just a Trump thing.
no, it's
This
definitely
has been going on since 1999.
right. Basically, from what we've been talking about, it basically it's the other administrations kicking it down the can and kicking the can down the
I mean,
road.
they put sanctions on it,
Right. And
and Barack Obama had some of the hardest sanctions put on for human rights violations.
so, I mean, it's like something definitely, it's like we're just seeing the culmination come to a head, as we it would say. It's now it's being manifested, but there is always something going on, and we're now just we're seeing the aftermath. I mean, of inaccomplishments.
But what Trump did is, as far as he's concerned, uh, arrested a drug kingpin
Right.
because he wasn't recognized as the president of Venezuela by the U.S. and a lot of other Latin countries in Europe, or whatever that matters.
Yes, yeah, I don't know this. Like, I know that to be considered to be a representative of a country as an ambassador, you have to be recognized by our State Department. I know that, or Secretary of State. What the heck? Okay, but I understood that. But I don't know how we can actually say to these people who legitimately think they legitimately elected officials in their own country, we don't recognize this individual. I don't understand that how they can do
That's
that.
what I don't understand.
Yeah, it's like
Why can't the world do the same thing? Why can't another country decide that they're going to go into another country and I don't recognize this president and take him out and say that this is the president that I think should have been. That's crazy.
yeah. I mean, I just we're not saying we're not happy with the outcome. Well, I mean, a lot of people from foreign countries are not happy with the outcome of Trump being in office. A lot of our own people are not satisfied with that. But I mean, I don't think I'd advocate people coming to seizing power and taking him out of office even eternally, domestically.
No, I
So I
would
mean,
be upset.
yeah, I mean, upset. So I mean,
But the thing is, I did a search on what's non-English speaking Reddit and non-English speaking Twitter is thinking, and they're split 60-40.
so I mean, it's like, so yeah. I mean, definitely. I was talking to people back in Venezuela back when Chavez first got in office because the internet just started opening up. I was talking to this woman in particular, and she had to flee Venezuela because her family were like, considered, venture capitalist or whatever, and they had to get out of the country because they're clamping down on, they're seizing their assets anyway. So she got a job working for someplace in another country, in some group in another country, and the conditions really got bad really quickly
Right.
underneath Hugo Chavez. I
But
mean,
they were bad before,
oh yeah,
even before 1999 when Hugo Chavez took over.
right.
It was bad for the average person because of guess who? Guess who created the unrest in Venezuela, where
Uh,
it started?
but that one I kind of lost in history. I think I should
We
know.
did,
Oh yeah, well yeah, Venezuela. I didn't want to say the obvious. That was the
and
first thing in my mind, but
OPEC.
yeah, OPEC
OPEC put the squeeze on them
because they had oil too,
because they had oil too,
and I don't think they belong
and
to.
that made they lost out on their oil, which was their main profit, and their resource that they were bringing to the world, saying where they could take it, where they could sell it, and where they couldn't sell it.
Yeah, that brings an interesting point. I'm gonna probably research it because I know I've always, whenever I hear the word OPEC, or I always consider that the Middle
OPEC
East.
is the Arab countries in Russia.
Or-
That's OPEC.
Okay, so that's what comes to my mind. See, I forgot about Russia, but I mean, back in the
There,
'70s.
but that's OPEC.
Yeah, but that's in the '70s. We always knew every time they talked about it, we saw them on television. They were the people dressed in traditional Arabic,
Yeah,
headdress and all
they're
that. Yeah,
deciding how much oil can be sold for.
right. So I mean, and obviously, in Venezuela was basically the wild card because now they had this consistency, this voting bloc basically, and Venezuela probably been the wild card at that point.
Yeah,
Yes,
I no, they weren't in
they
OPEC.
weren't OPEC at all,
No,
so that probably bothered them. So
I'm like I said, it's Saudi, like Saudi Arabia and the other country, oil Arab producing countries in Russia. That's OPEC.
basically, I would consider like if you put it in union terms, they were like a closed shop, and they were like
Yeah,
yeah, they were like the closed shop.
but getting back to what we're talking about, looking into this, it's not such. It doesn't look like such a bad thing when you look at what's happening right now with $15 billion being released back to the people of Venezuela.
Instead of being
And on Monday, uh, the aid's going to start coming in through medical and food supplies back there, and they're going to be able to spend their money.
so, and I've heard some people say that they've heard. I've talked to a couple of people since we started talking about doing this, and they said that the initial response, a lot of Venezuelans themselves, was positive. They were kind of
They're dancing.
they're dancing the
Everything
streets.
that I see, of course, it's the U.S. news.
Yeah.
That they're dancing in the streets and they're happy about it.
All I know is that I hope if it works out. I hope
Well,
if the Trump administration releases those funds and they start delivering the aid and stuff like that to these people, I have fewer issues with it. I have
but
fewer
think
issues.
about it. There's a couple generations that have grown up in poverty there that haven't known of real wealth.
Yeah,
And
because it's like what's weird. As bad as our country is, we have really, really, really rich people, but they seem we enjoy the wealth of it to some degree, even
oh,
though
give
much
me a
better.
break. I mean, people on welfare have big screen TVs and internet.
Yeah, our poverty is definitely a different form of poverty than they have in those countries down
I'm
there.
not saying it's fun to be on welfare.
Right.
No, I didn't say that.
No,
But I'm just saying you can be on public assistance and still enjoy things that I guess people think of it as right now. They have an internet.
well, like I used to talk to people in the Philippines, and they had like the webcams, and they're showing me their houses, and a lot of them were like just rough brick construction or mortar
Well,
block, and crows.
but you got to remember, it's hot there.
Yeah,
It's not. It doesn't. It gets cold, but it doesn't get cold like here in
here.
the states.
But I'm just saying this. It was like basically it looked like a destroyed area. I mean, it was like walls were removed. Portions of the walls are destroyed and all that. And they were living in that. That was their everyday living, and they're happy to have
But getting
electricity.
back to what we were talking about, do you think now, after you had time to absorb everything and read about it, that maybe it's not such a bad thing that we initially thought it was?
Well, it's definitely reduced my hostility. I was furious. I was screaming at my iPad when I was looking at the news. I don't like the fact we're going to be involved militarily in another country.
No, because you already said we're going to have a small presence there. We have to
We already said that. I
to
don't like that.
protect our interests.
But if he could deliver the goods on the people getting the aid and with the funds released, it's my hostilities dropped to about 80% because 80% downwards because that's my concern is like we always want to install somebody who basically sees their whole country is now something that they can pick and cherry pick and they can do everything they want. They're going to be the recipient of all the cash if the oil revenues because they are an oil
Well,
rich nation.
what he did say during Trump, what he did say during his address to the people is that they're going to be paying reparations back to the United States in oil.
And
So it's not, but we immediately released the $15 billion that we had of Venezuelan money back to Venezuela.
yeah, see, that's if that goes through, I'll put that caveat there. If all
And
this happens, my hostilities drop considerably.
well, I
But
mean, you got to
to
think
my
it is a
opposition,
good thing
yeah,
because Venezuelans that are living here in the United States,
right.
if they want to, will now be able to go home.
See,
And doctors, lawyers, everybody who's here will be able to go back to Venezuela and be with their families if they want to.
see, I look at that kind of situation, and then I just wonder how far off our country is going to be to having something like that happen here. Because our country, we had a lot of challenges economically. We have competition in foreign countries that we
But the
never had
thing is,
before.
think about it. We're 50 small countries.
Right, our states, yeah.
There's no way. Okay, big deal. A coup in Washington. Who cares?
Uh,
I'd be happy if they had a coup in Washington and took it over.
yeah, it's like,
That's not going to control the rest of the United States.
I think we'd still hum along. I think it might be disruptive in some
No,
things. You don't
no,
think we'd have any
no.
disruption? Not at all.
If there was a coup, how could they have a coup? We're taking over the United States. Oh yeah, you're taking over Michigan, big boy. How you doing that from there?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. Another thing is,
You got National Guards in every state.
and that's what they're supposed to do is defend that state's interests, right?
Yes,
Right.
but how could a coup in Washington affect you?
Yeah,
Not.
there's probably insulated pockets.
Oh, we're going to
Seriously.
make laws.
Yeah, we're going to make laws that we can't enforce, like the Emancipation Proclamation. Yeah,
You're now under police action.
it's like once we get the
What
police, you
police
got hell to pay.
action?
Yeah, well, it's like once you get the
It'd
police,
be
you're
a
maybe.
it'd be a joke.
Yeah.
It'd be like when what's the name of that movie where the rock band took over a radio station.
Oh, I don't remember that one.
It was Adam Sandler and a whole bunch of them. They started playing their music. That's what it'd be like.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I can see that because we do have our own legislature acting. We mirrors what the setup was. in
No,
DC,
what would
but,
happen is the stronger states would say, "Okay, you can have Washington. We're just going to be our own state now. Leave us alone.
the independent.
We're not
country.
going to send you any more money."
Yeah, that's a foot. Did you hear about people talk about that? That they're
Well, what was said, what I heard is that people should go to their HR and say, "I want to handle my own deductions to the IRS or to my withholdings.
Mhm.
I'll just pay them at the end of the year. Stop withholding it." And then if enough people did that, it would hurt the government because
See,
they wouldn't have those funds coming in week after week.
yes, yeah, I think that's the element of the coercion that they exercise over us. That's what I find appalling. Another thing is too, I've told people before, if you want a tax bribe, if you want a tax revolt or tax reform, what you do is tell people we're not going to take the withholdings out of you for the entire year, but keep in mind what you currently owe.
Sure,
You
let
have to
them
keep,
have to pay that 21,000 or whatever
right.
it is that they've been taking. Think of $2,000, 24,000 to 20. Well, I'm just a regular person making, I don't know, $30,000 a year. They're taking out what, uh, five or 10,000, something like
Yeah,
that through taxes.
yeah. So but you have to keep that money in your account so you can pay it. Then they see that money piled up and then have to just write a check to go to the
Like they'll
IRS.
be mad.
It's like, Jesus, man, what the hell? I mean,
If you had to pay the gas tax at the end of the year,
right.
you'd be
And
mad.
they're really bad now, especially after one we just had to
Oh,
put it on us here in Michigan. Oh my God. I mean, they want to make it so that every dollar we have goes to some governmental body. I mean, every dollar. I don't see how that's going to help the economy. You don't have disposable income going to things you choose to actually put into, silly things like, new clothes.
what is a big deal? I mean, if you want some stupid app for your phone, you should be able to afford that dumb app. You
No,
should have stupid money.
yeah, I mean, it's like, well, if it's your life and you only got to live a similar, you got to a very
No,
finite
it's like
lifestyle.
we said, everyone's a slave.
Yeah, that's another thing. Is Americans always
You
say, we're the
can't
free
own
country.
you can't own anything.
No,
I mean, okay, you can own a car outright, but you can't drive it.
no, you got to pay for them. You got to pay,
You got
especially
to
in
be
Michigan.
licensed, got to be insured,
Yeah.
and that insurance tell me that that's not a cartel.
Oh, that's definitely they got the politicians saying you got to pass these laws, allow us that you got to
Why should
enforce it.
why should your car insurance be more than your car payment?
Right. I mean, that's like, yeah. I mean, they're getting twice the money, and then then be reluctant to pay out any claims.
No, hell no. I've had claims where okay, the last I got in a wreck where somebody hit me and they totaled my car. Guess what happened? They went and they after the fact they said you had a scratch here, the tires didn't look good, this needed to be replaced, this and all this stuff. They went and made my I was in the negative.
Yeah.
I owed money after they gave me the money. I had to come up with almost $1,000 because of the state of my total car that the assessor went and found scratches and said the tires weren't just anything they could say.
Yeah, I think you said something. Just
Oh,
was
there was a
something.
ring that came off, a beauty ring.
Yeah.
that came off during the accident. It's just a ring that came off around my shifter and was on the floor in the car. And he said it was missing and dinged me on that. And he said there was oil in the driver's compartment on the floor, and the carpets were stained.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
What?
It was cold out when I got in it. No, I hurt myself when I got in the accident. I had to have somewhere to set, and I walked through the oil, and that was the oil off my shoes.
I mean, everything. I mean, it's like if you remember the commercial they had years ago, it's like with the insurance company was on the phone with
They
someone.
don't pay.
They said like, well, see, the thing is, it's like if you would none of this would happen if you were out there driving. And it's like, yeah, so basically, we're not going to pay the claim because you're out driving.
No, it's just not fair.
No,
The older I get, the more taxes. I mean, we lived long enough to see where property taxes weren't killing people.
yeah, but now they are. Another thing is too, it's like you pay for the house. What gives the government right to take that thing from you and then go beyond, sell it beyond what you owe them, way beyond it. Now they're sitting on maybe
Yeah,
50,
they're
60,
taking
100,000.
$100,000 house because you owe $2,000 that you couldn't pay.
You
Is
know,
that fair?
they got buddies all. I've just seen this. I've seen this.
Oh,
Look,
even
buying their houses up cheap.
well, even if you look into, we talked about it before. There's no real money when you do a mortgage. There's no money that changes hands. Just money just magically materialized because you now have a debt,
Right.
and that's how it materializes. It does. They don't have to. And then banks and financial organizations only have to have 10% of their money on hand.
Yeah, they're of their what they call their
So
assets. Yeah.
yeah, so if you give out $100,000 loan, that means that you only have to prove that you got $10,000.
No, no, that we couldn't do that.
No, we can't, but they
bank,
can.
yeah, the banks they created thought of
They
thin
do
air.
this magic.
And we print the money, so we got the cost accrued in that. If there is actual money, we pay for all the printing of it. We give it to them. They lend it to us,
Well,
and charge us
okay,
interest
what
on
they
the money
do
we
is
created.
they use our debt to create an asset for them.
Right.
That you now owe me $100,000, so I got $100,000 asset now. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't to me. It doesn't make
The
sense.
whole banking system makes no sense.
It's all it is an illusion. That's all it is an illusion. When people if more people got more aware of how it is, they'd be terrified. It would collapse. It
Yeah,
would fall in on
especially
itself.
when your credit union or your bank that you bank at only has to have 10% of the money on hand.
Right. I mean, it's nothing. That's nothing. I mean, it's
And you can go there, you can have $25,000 and they can tell you to come back Monday.
right.
They don't have to give you your money because you show up.
So yeah, it's like, and we've allowed this to happen, and because they say it's necessary, and the way it is now functioning, it is necessary.
No, because
put it
they
in-
don't want you to be liquid. They don't want you to have the money at your fingertips.
Well,
Look, how much you can only get like $500 out of ATM per day.
right. And another thing is too, look at, I mean, the serial numbers on bills and stuff like that. They're all sequential, and they know when they can release them. You can't hoard money away anymore like you used to be with like the silver banknotes and all that. You can't do that anymore. You can't secret them in a jar and bury them in the yard. They know when those release, and they know that they haven't been seen in circulation for this length of time.
Yeah, but they can't make them. They can't do anything about. I mean, the value can go up and down, but they can't take them out of circulation if you've got them.
Right. Well,
they can't just say, "Well, if these numbers." Well, who knows? In the future, they may be able to say, "This note's been out of circulation too long, and it's obviously not there," and put a strike through that serial number.
Yeah, well, look what they did eliminating the penny. People are saying, "Well, it cost inefficient," but let's face it, that's not something.
Yeah, but how many people are stuck with pennies now?
Right. Oh God, I got hundreds.
I got a bunch of pennies that just because they were a pain in the ass.
All right. So now we can't turn them back?
I don't know.
Yeah. So maybe somebody out there can answer that. But no, I mean, I got a couple of boxes full of pennies because you just toss them in a bucket on your dresser or whatever, and I've got probably at least $20 worth, $30 worth of pennies. But getting back to if all this goes through like Trump's laid out like his plans are.
Well, and then also, like we said, we did the research. This didn't just happen overnight.
No.
This has been going on since 1999.
So I mean, obviously,
Baby Bush, Obama, Biden, Clinton, Hillary Clinton, they've all weighed in on it and said that they were bad people. and doing bad things, human rights violations. And again, Biden didn't undo anything Trump did on Maduro.
Okay, but we all know that now, and you've uncovered this because I didn't know this until you laid it out for me. But do you think the Democrats are going to have the wherewithal to come through and say,
This
"Look,
was
this"?
bipartisan.
Well, yeah, but I want to say, would they come to the defense of
No,
Trump?
of
To
course
say,
they
no,
won't.
they're not going to.
But why would they come to the defense? I wouldn't if I was a Democrat.
Mm,
Would you? Would you say? I
Actually, I think I
mean,
would.
okay,
I
come
think
on.
I would.
It's so far that I don't want to see any president fail, and I don't think you do either.
No,
But
because
I think these guys do.
do you want to see
That's
Trump?
how
Oh yeah,
vehement they are, and how far they would take it to clap their hands for the failure of a president, whether it meant the failure of the rest of the country and a bad economy for me and you, just because they won.
they just want to dump on this
They
guy,
want to be red and blue so bad
and they want
that they don't care about us.
and that's
They're the elite.
yeah.
We talked about it before.
See,
Once they get in there, they're the elite.
see, I mean, people expected me because I mean, I lost friends over voting for Trump 3 times. Okay, I voted, but unfortunately,
If
they're not.
anybody gets that political that they get upset about who you vote for, they weren't your friend in the first place.
That's probably a good way of looking at it. But all I'm saying is, but when he screws up, I'm going to be the first one to call him out. I know most Democrats won't do that. Democrats are not capable of doing that.
If you took the time and you researched who you voted for, and that's who you voted for, I don't care.
Right.
That's up to you. I'm not. I could care less who you voted for.
See, that's the thing is most people who are conservative have the tendency to detach that from the individual. The left.
You're
doesn't
either
do
a
that.
good person or you're not.
Right. I mean,
I'm either want to be your friend or associate with you, or I don't. I don't. That's not on my list. Who you voted for?
well, like we've had people come in here for do interviews, and there's some Democrats who come in. I didn't agree with what they are advocating,
But they're good people.
but they're good people. I mean, I can't find fault with Jim Ananick. I mean, I can't.
No,
find,
he's a great guy.
I mean, he's a great guy. I mean, I can't. Terry Bankert, him and I used to trade shots.
But he's a great
But he
guy.
was a great man. He was a great guy.
You know why? Because they believe in what they
They,
actually believe in.
Right.
Well, Jim Ananick, I don't think he believed in nationally,
no,
but the local stuff.
yeah, he put his money. He stood by what he did. He lived it. He lived it.
Right.
Yeah.
But he wasn't he didn't believe in abortion, or
No.
doesn't.
No, and I mean, I also like
And all the Democrats, that's one of the things that they're against abortion, but that's a platform that
the national.
I think it should just be taken out,
Yeah, I think
because nationally it has no business to being decided by government.
no, it should, that's like an issue that I don't like it. I think you can avoid it, but I mean, I think that needing an abortion you can avoid, but that's on the individual.
If a person can do that
right,
and they can live with it,
I
it's
can't.
up to them.
I'm not gonna sit
It's
there.
not my choice. I mean, it's like it was my choice not to get the COVID vaccine.
Right,
So
and he never regretted that.
don't get on me because I didn't take the COVID vaccine. If you want an abortion, it's my body, my choice, right?
Right. I mean, how many Democrats who push that agenda? Now we're saying that. Well, we were too hard on that. I've never heard of one coming forward and say they're too harsh on it. Did you?
I don't see people as Democrats or Republicans,
Well, I mean,
so I don't know.
But I mean, the people in the media. I mean, talking people who are
I don't.
the
But
senators,
again,
congressmen.
when's the
those.
last time you went and watched Fox News or anything?
I never watched Fox.
So you wouldn't know.
I mean, it's like
I
I never.
The stuff I watch is off of YouTube, TikTok, and different places. I mean, because I argue with people, you can use TikTok for a tool if you use the search.
Yeah.
You can find what you're looking for. You don't have to just look at what the people that you made your friends in the feed. You can go in there and dig in there and find stuff.
Yeah, I do like, and I also argue. I argue with Chat GPT, back and forth on certain issues to define stuff, and so that helps sharpen it too. When you go to dealing with a human, you got your course of action on your arguments taken. You set off your vocabulary at least. You know what you're talking about, discussing adequately. So, but no, I mean, like I said, I guess this is a wait and see scenario for us.
It is what we have no control over.
No,
and it could turn out good for the Venezuelans, especially if they want to go home. I mean, I can understand how America could be their second country or second home.
yeah, I mean,
But if you came here because you couldn't live in your first home anymore, maybe they want to go back. Maybe they have houses waiting for them.
See, like years ago, what our ancestors came from Europe. if they would, and the conditions had to be bad for them to leave everything they knew at that time to come here. Now situations could have changed all drastically. They could have gone back. Many of them would have, but that wasn't a
It
potential back
wasn't
then.
that easy.
That wasn't that easy. Because you were on ships. You didn't. It
But
took you
here,
months to get here.
Venezuela's just a couple hour ride on an airplane.
Right. So I mean, it's like, and they can flip back and forth. I mean, there's convenience that our
I
ancestors
would
didn't have.
like it. I mean, to go as far as to use some of that 15 billion for repatriation. If anybody wants to go, help them.
Yeah, go back to get their house back.
Yeah, help them get home if they want to go. I'm not saying force them.
Right.
I'm just saying but I don't want to lose doctors.
No, because they're very well trained doctors. A lot of them.
Oh
Are,
yeah, I know some Venezuelan doctors that are here.
There's some of the
But I don't want to. I don't want to. But if they want to go,
see, that's what one thing I think about the internet is really positive. Like I said, during the time that Chavez came to power, I was talking to a woman in Venezuela, a country I never even really considered. I knew it on a map, geography and stuff, but I never seen the conditions or whatever. And she was talking about it as it was developing. And you start relating as humans and understand why they're doing. They're just not being burdensome to you if they're coming to your country. You know what the reasons why they're leaving something they care about. Their families there, their ties are there.
people don't realize that sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. That's one good thing the internet's allowed us to see. Because I never talked to anybody from Venezuela before. I heard about it, read about it, read about political situations. That's about it. But you see,
But I mean, how cool was that I was able to get Grok to give me what non-English people think.
See, that goes right back to this. It's like something that normal. If you just looked at the network news, typically you're not going to get covered the people's reaction in the country itself. You just see it develop.
But Grok was able to go to Reddit because
Right.
I told it I didn't want to know what the news thought. I told it to go to Reddit and I told it to go on X and give me what the non-English speaking people are thinking. And it was able to do that.
See, that's one positive thing of AI. I mean, a lot of people are critical of it, and there's a lot to be critical of AI. There is a lot that's going to possibly can go off the rails on it. But I think this kind of situation where they can actually break this
But
down.
it still gave me a 60-40 split.
Right.
Which is still pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, it's like,
it's a C.
Yeah, it's a C. Yeah, I mean, at least. And another thing is, I do have to say this: I'm critical of Trump, but he does legitimately try to deliver on his promises.
But
he tries to.
But because we're in the now, again, people don't realize that this has been going on since before 1999. But
Right.
But Hugo Chavez, 1999 elected.
Right.
They've had socialism since then.
Right. And
and the first thing he did, it was a country was sucking. To begin with, economically, first thing he did is put price caps on everything.
That never.
And it even made it worse because the people that were selling products from out of Venezuela, out of country, stopped selling their products there.
Right.
Because they couldn't make any money because he said this is all you can make.
See, it's not. I mean, that's a problem with the command economy, like socialism, whatever. They don't have all the information to make the good determination of what to do, and that's the argument. The Austrian School of Economics and Chicago School to argue about the problem with centralized planning, and that's what. And it's just whim. I think he would come up with this kind of stuff on a whim. I mean, all these left.
Well, and then he fired people he didn't agree with.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're not giving me the feedback I want, so I'll get rid of you.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, then that's like basically he wants a group of yes men. I've always found that amongst the left. They always want people repeating or trying to back up what they say.
But if somebody's trying to sell something, they've got to be able to make a living wage too.
Right.
Or whatever. They're going to be able to make a profit so they can put it back in the business and do R&D to make the business better,
Right.
and the profit and the equipment, upgrade broken equipment and things. You can't just say you're going to sell this pop or soda at 50 cents a bottle, and that's it.
Yeah, because you don't.
And then you got to try to figure out how to make it at 50 cents a bottle when you spend $1
You keep
to make it.
Yeah, another thing is your equipment breaks down. Now you got to go to that's a capital good. You got to bring that in. Outside suppliers creating the machinery. And stuff. I mean, and you got to borrow to get that. To see, that's what the thing is. Centralized planning never works. Like Mandami or whatever his name, who just got elected in New York, he said about basically moving away from the rugged individualism to the warmth of collectivism.
And that's where I mean, how many failed? I know of 2 failed city-owned grocery stores.
Right,
We have one now. Yeah, it's a great thing. People are gonna be going to it, but when the prices aren't when they're gonna have to do prices to keep the place open because they're supposed to make a profit
right,
to pay the people that invested in it
right,
back,
right.
um, you can't just give stuff away. You gotta be able to pay the people that work there and everything. I mean, bennies are gonna run out, especially if a Republican wins governorship
Yeah, that
in the next
the
election.
funds probably
You
cut.
think they're gonna be so easy giving the city of Flint money for and then what makes me sort of upset is they chose the colors of an African motif for the
Mhm.
store.
So that kind
Does
of
that make you feel welcome?
no,
It
doesn't.
doesn't make me feel welcome. It makes me feel like they want it to be a black only store.
And if that's true, then if they got to be
Well,
able to
look at the
sustain it,
motif on it. It's like one of those scarves that you
oh,
wear.
the
Wh-
dashiki or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the motif that they got on their Facebook fan page.
I would say politely that's off-putting. I mean, I'm serious. I mean,
Especially seeing that our tax dollars paid for it, we should be welcome there just like anybody else.
right? They should have more of a neutral thing. I mean, they would go if we had something that was decidedly Anglo or whatever, or white or cracker or whatever you want to call it. You know, something we did identified with us, they'd be arguing against it. So I mean, yeah, that's a reasonable argument. I mean, it's a reasonable
But the
observation anyway.
colors that they chose, it makes me feel unwelcome.
Yeah, and I
But
think
that's
that's intended.
okay.
Yeah, well, I think that is intended. I think they just we want like we want it for us people, these people, not you, these people.
Well, it's another reason why it's going to fail.
Right.
I mean, why it could fail. I'm not saying it's going to fail, but
See,
it's a reason because you don't want, okay, what is it's the population of Flint is probably
60%.
25% black.
Well, I mean,
It's not big numbers.
you don't think it is?
No.
Well, I think it's bigger than that. I don't think the white
Okay,
population.
how about Genesee County?
Oh,
It's
Genesee County.
even less.
Oh, yeah, in
It's
Genesee County.
it's probably 13.
Okay.
So
Well,
you're gonna go after 13% of Genesee County? How many white people do you and non-blacks do you think would have went to that store if they felt welcome?
if they felt welcome, I think a good portion of it, but I don't
Right,
think very
but
small.
you're gonna go after the black population and the rest of the out county, you're because Flint's not that big
No,
compared to the rest of the Genesee County.
I'd say that only like maybe 30% of the population of Genesee County live in Flint. The rest of it lives in the suburbs. I mean, and
But
why
what
would
they
you cut
did is
yourself
just
off?
alienated
All those people,
all the non-blacks
right?
in Genesee County
I don't think
and the city of Flint.
so. I think it's stupid. I don't think you want to narrow your customer base. I think you to make a good profit and make a good showing, you have to widen it. You have to cast a wide net, and
Right,
that's
and
limited.
again, this free money is gonna run out
Yeah, and that's
because
how.
even Democrats are gonna go, "I can't give you any more money."
Yeah, it's ran its course. I mean, it's if you don't look down the road to see how you can keep that perpetuate that going on your own and attract more customers and keep your that customer base going, you're going to be doomed for
I
failure.
mean, would
You
you
are.
have went there?
Oh
I
no.
would have went there.
I mean, oh, I won't now.
But when I looked at their little grand opening, I didn't see any non-blacks there
I mean,
in the background or the speakers.
of course, so some people say, "Well, that's because of your own hangups or whatever."
It's not a hang up.
I don't
I
think it
mean,
is.
they would look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, they meaning non-whites would look at a grocery store that opens up. There's no black people there. There's no Spanish people there.
I've heard that happen. You like
But
restaurants and
you
stuff.
will hear it all the time.
Yeah, I hear it all the time. I've heard it all the time growing up. I mean, well, they don't like what black people do, even though
But that's how I felt. I felt alienated when I looked at their grand opening of the people that were all the people were non-white.
well, that's what I'm saying. It's like if I've had people say, "Well, that's just your hang up," and it's like,
It's
no,
not a
it's not a
hang-up.
hang up. I mean,
It's perception.
but okay,
Perception is reality. It was real. You can go back and look at the video.
right. But I'm going to say though,
But
even if
and they're celebrating it like it's something that should be celebrated.
Yeah, I think it's just good.
I mean, what kind of achievement is it? It's not like it's the first grocery store that's ever opened.
Yeah, and it's not the first black run
No.
one either that was, I mean, that's like that distinction's diminished because we knew a lot of blacks who actually ran business who did get subsidized by government funds to start their business. They did it entirely on their own. And I think those people should be more of the role model you want to go for than the people who have been subsidized. I'm serious. I mean, so I mean, how many? My family had a lot of business. We had a lot of business in Flint that were black owned back in the day. They did really
I
well.
don't care if
Uh,
if it's selling at prices that I can afford or more affordable. I'm going to go there.
That's what I go to Asian markets for food because I want Asian food. I go there, and it doesn't
But if
support
you can
stuff.
get the Asian food cheaper at
It's
Walmart, you're
yeah,
going to go to Walmart,
exactly.
right?
I got this much money. If I can get it, we're here, or I can get it here cheaper. I don't care who's running it. I'm going to
No.
go for where it's going.
And I think that's what most people do.
And that should be the determining factor. Matter of fact, economics, if you're offering something on a competitive basis with everybody else, that's actually, and people say you're a minority and you people gravitate towards towards your store. That should be more of an accolade for you that you've had this entrepreneurial spirit enough to understand that and deliver the goods to wherever people want them. What kind of goods you've anticipated that, actively and accurately. That should be like, that's a kudo for you.
And that's why we go to a certain store in Clio,
Yeah,
because we like the prices in
the atmosphere.
I forget what the name of the Filipino store.
Yeah, they're in Clio. I forget it too, but it's a good. It's in one of the strip malls there, right in town on Mill Street. There, yeah. I mean,
they've got
they got
affordable prices and they got a wide selection of food that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to get in the supermarket.
even the Asian sections of most bigger box stores, they don't have.
They don't have the things.
Yeah, the coffees and stuff.
I'll put in the link.
I don't know. I think it's like no. That's the thing is like my grandparents owned a business and they hired blacks back then. Back in the
They hired
1850s.
everybody.
They hired everybody who had talent and they could draw. And my grandparents got criticized for people like that, but their business boomed.
But you got to remember, this is in 1950s.
1950s, and it was like it would bet some people could have used it as definitely like to be like a nail in their casket, but it didn't work that way. People still
You
showed
got to
up in
hire
droves.
the best of the best.
Right.
It doesn't matter what color they are.
Because he hired two black chefs, and they were good chefs, and he paid equal. Actually, they got paid better than General Motors workers did. They also got health care benefits, and people criticized my grandfather. And he said, "I don't care if you go to other
If it's good
restaurants,
food, it's good food.
and that's what everybody else saw too. It's like I don't care if Phil cooks it; it's great food, so they went there. I mean, that's the thing is that.
I mean, how many times do you go, who's cooking the food?
I don't.
I don't.
I mean,
I just either like it or I don't.
Well, hey, I'll go to. There's a barbecue Steve, black man goes around with a barbecue unit at the back of his pickup.
He's a guy that goes around
Yeah.
with the barbecue in the back of his truck.
Kudo there. I mean, another shout out
Yeah,
there for you.
he's all over the place. I've
Place.
seen him at Davison Farmers Market and got some of his stuff. Well, I didn't get Todd.
Yeah.
Was wolfing down some of his ribs.
I'll go to if I see
Remember Todd had
stuff all over.
the barbecue all over his hands
Yeah.
and face.
Yeah, it looked like.
But he's all over. That guy's a hard-working dude.
Yeah, and he had a setback, and his truck got on fire somehow with the electrical thing, and then he got money together to get that back on the road. I like the guy, and I love his food. He was for the it was a barbecue for the homeless downtown Flint one time. Lockhart used to run that, and she's gone now. She died tragically anyway, but he was there doing that, and the food, the chicken and the steaks.
His food is great.
I mean, it's
But
great.
again, I don't care who cooks the food.
It's like, look, it's clean and it's edible and it's tasty. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it, man. I mean, and that's what I'm saying.
I mean, think about Chips.
Well,
It was a good place.
I was gonna bring up chips. I love chips.
Yeah.
That's good food.
But again, that's the first time I ever had a rib dog,
A rib dog.
where it's the rib is he leaves the little bit of the bone in
Yeah.
and puts it on a hot dog bun with cold slaw
Oh,
and barbecue
I never-
sauce.
I never tried that.
Yeah, and then it's a piece of pork, a nice piece of pork, and it's a rib dog
That
instead of a hot dog.
sounds good.
It is good.
Yeah, it's like no, I mean, I love barbecue, and that's like in a lot of some of the best people delivered are black. I mean, so I don't care. I mean,
don't care. Yeah, if I see one of those smokers on the side of the road, I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
If I got the most of the time, I have to go get cash.
right, and that's
Well, no, everybody takes a credit card now.
swipe
I
card.
guess
yeah. I don't. Maybe we should have Steve come in for an interview sometime. No, barbecue.
if he
Steve.
would,
Yeah.
but the man's busy. I
Yeah.
don't know if he could. You'd probably have to go to him.
Yeah, we'll do that. If we promise, if we run into him, I'll do a quick interview with him because he's a great guy. He's been around. I've known him like 10, 12 years, so I've been around this area. But that's what I'm saying. Getting back to the point
Well, I mean, I'm sort of happy that we talked because I was wound up and you were wound
yeah,
up,
yeah.
and it forced us to do this research. That we changed our minds and the whole thing, especially to find out because it felt like it was a Trump thing,
Yeah,
didn't it?
yeah.
Until we went and really researched it, and it's a baby Bush, uh, Obama, Clinton, Biden thing too.
Right. I mean, it's like it goes. We've brought this point before. A different some person, even though I don't like what they're dealing with, is not totally their creation. It's
No, this
something
is
they've inherited.
bipartisan.
Yeah, it's bipartisan. It's been kicked down around. They got it. They ended up with that ball.
And if this destabilizes OPEC even further, then so be it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because that's a good thing. If somebody compete and say, "We can give it to you at a cheaper price," everybody has to lower the price to keep competitive. Then it benefits the consumers of that, which is us.
I mean, you got to admit the world's economy is oil.
Right. Oh, it is.
You don't want it to be nothing because we would suffer.
Right. I mean, and I don't see it. And
It's got to be at a certain point. That tipping point, I think, is like $35 per barrel
yeah.
to where we're doing okay.
Yeah, because otherwise it affects everything. I mean, and it's not just for oil. It's not for
petroleum products are in everything. In
Yeah.
the clothing you wear, in the car, well, of course, in the car you drive, in this microphone,
the computers we're
the
using.
computers you use, but you can't get away from it.
Well, that Landman segment, you've seen that before.
Right, he explains it.
Beautiful job. You get a chance to see that segment. Go on
The
Landman.
first
season. Right?
First season, Billy Bob Thornton goes into explaining how you can't get away from oil.
And even it's like, he's saying, hey, if these people thought this could do it, this alternative, these oil industries thought it could be this alternative would be the one to go out. They'd be the first one behind it.
Right. If there was something new, magical, the hell yeah, they would. But he goes into his rant, and it's not a rant. It's educational. It should be in every classroom in the United States. You take out the cuss words, but it's in the makeup, the lipstick, makeup, eyeliner. It's in everything.
When I was a kid, I was reading the side of the story about how Vaseline, that petroleum jelly came about. That's definitely connected to petroleum products, petroleum jelly. And how many products is that used for? How useful that is. I mean, we grew up with this stuff and we don't know the source. I mean, we do. The other day, my friend got a deer. Okay. And I helped him. This is the second, third, fourth year I helped gut, right? I'm going to get graphic, but you pull that stuff out. It's not pleasant, okay? But I mean, so many people would go to a steakhouse and have the steak and stuff like that, and they'd get so grossed up by see the venison, and that's the same thing, when cows are similar, they got similar innards, and they'd be grossed out by that. We're so cut off from what comes to us, where it comes from. I mean,
you're more thankful for it.
Yeah. You're more thankful for realizing
for the animal that you're consuming.
Right. You're more connected to it. I mean, that's one thing I did like about the Native Americans. I was taught when I was growing up, they had an appreciation for the animal. I mean, they got it, they ate it. But the thing is, they didn't regard it as
something. But they make fun of Ted Nugent, but Ted Nugent's like that. He has campfires set out explaining that about harvesting the animal and giving thanks to God and be thankful to the animal for the meat that it provided for you and your family.
Yeah, I mean, it is almost spiritual. And you can see, I mean, it's weird as it is because Ted's kind of a strange person, but it is a spiritual thing for that man. I've seen him describe that on several interviews.
And some things make sense that he says, and some things are a little bit crazy.
Some things like, please be quiet, Ted. Okay, you're destroying our case. We're behind you now, but we're going to have to go a little, rein you in a little bit. But no, he's right. I mean,
when it comes to hunting,
he sums it up.
Yeah.
You got to kill it before you grill it. You like to go in that steakhouse. You like going to that nice barbecue at work. Something that was walking around eating grass before that happened. Okay.
When he talks about sandhill cranes, I never knew that, the ribeye in the sky. I went. You can buy the ribeyes. They're nice pieces of meat from those birds.
To me, I had a friend who grew up down south. His family's from down south, and he told my sister and I, he said, we don't have pets. If it looked good, we ate it. So I mean, if anything was open for food, like they were open for it. And that's kind of I can see the pragmatic, I can see that. I'm open to eating different foods. I've had emu. That's the only thing I never cared for was emu. It didn't taste good. I've had ostrich, tastes better. Ostrich tasted better. I've had pretty much every wild game meat. The only thing I haven't had is I haven't had rattlesnake.
Mhm.
And I've had gator many times. I love gator meat. It's great. I mean, I'm not grossed out by that stuff. I figure if people from other worlds that eat this upper parts of the world ate it, they're not much different than me. If there was something gross about it, they'd probably ignore not be doing it. So anyway, I don't have that snobbishness when it comes to food.
But if you have to kill it and grill it,
Right.
it's a lot different than going to buy it at the grocery store.
Yeah. Another thing is too, it makes you aware of the resource and you're not so willing to just toss it away or
No, you're more you're going to become a good steward
store. Yeah,
of
exactly.
it. You're going to become a better person and not just think, oh, I'm going to go to the grocery store and get some chicken. You can no, you can be more appreciative even when you go to the grocery store because you have a better understanding.
Another thing is when I was a kid, my grandfather had a 5 acre section of ground just beyond his house, the other side of down the street from his house. And he had a pump there and he irrigated it. And he grew potatoes, carrots, onions. He grew raspberries and all this stuff. And we had to go pick it. No, it was just a one garden. We were only there about an hour. I was maybe 8, 9, 10, 11. It was several years in the summer I was up there. It felt like, oh, it felt like, a long stretch. It was only an hour. My grandfather lived it himself. But if we were digging the hard ground, digging up the potatoes and stuff, when they brought those potatoes, went home and we washed them and we made them up. They tasted better
Yeah.
because we actually put effort to getting them. And then when I was a kid, I was fascinated by that. I mean,
That you could go get potatoes out of the
the
ground.
ground. Yeah, it's like that's cool.
Or the potatoes even grew in the
Oh
ground.
yeah, and it's like people are so cut off by that. I mean, they say they don't want like beef tongue. I grew up eating. My mom would make beef tongue.
Everything from the animal
Yeah,
and on a farmer's farm
yeah, but people,
was eaten.
yeah, I mean, it's like people say, I said, I wouldn't eat anything came out of an animal's mouth. I go, how about eggs? I mean, where does that come from? I mean, but it's serious. It puts you back in connection with stuff. And I think it is kind of spiritual. It can reconnect you as a human because thousands of generations before us have done this. And we're so cut off from it. I mean, we really are.
And that's what they want.
Right.
And yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist. Government doesn't want you to be able to provide for yourself.
Nope.
I mean, think about these stupid laws that they have. I understand you don't want your neighbor's chicken crowing outside your. I'm talking about the rooster,
Yeah.
not the chicken crowing outside your window at 5 in the morning. But that doesn't happen that often.
No,
And there are actually birds that have been what's the word I'm looking for? Um, where you put two birds together.
hybrid.
Yeah, that have been genetically. I don't want to say genetically, but they have bred it out of them to
But
where they're actually quiet city chickens.
right. I mean, it's like there's chickens around here. I don't know if you ever there's roosters around here in the neighborhood. I mean, you can walk around and hear roosters crowing, which is weird. I mean, we're in the middle of the city, and I don't care. I don't care if people have.
People want to supplement with chickens. That's fine.
I don't have a problem with this.
But government does.
Yeah, because it's like, well, it's a sanitary conditions. Well, it's like people have pit bulls or big dogs in their yard, and they crap there
all over the place. But you don't see people coming. There's no crap police, no dog crap police.
No, I mean it's just something you deal with. Okay, I mean, okay, chickens. Okay, yeah, it could be a health risk. There is definitely viruses and stuff like that. But so what? You just wash your hands consistently. You're
only
fine.
when they want to. Again, conspiracy theorists.
Right.
Only when they want to raise the price of chickens.
Right.
The big chicken processor plants go and kill chickens.
Right. I mean, they create the artificially.
People forget about that. I mean, every year, what happens? Oh no, we have a Asian bird flu outbreak, and then we got to kill all these chickens, which affects the price of eggs and poultry.
Poultry. I mean, they do that, and it's all planned. It's like, and I don't think it's all that urgent. I don't think.
And I don't think we should be getting so much pork from China.
I
I didn't know until recently that because China held up a big pork order for the United States. So if you haven't seen it already, pork's going to be going up.
I mean, that's one thing that's one of the cheapest cheapest
Affordable
cuts of
meats.
meat. Yeah, right now.
Is pork, but no, it's going to go up because China is withholding a big order.
Well, I mean,
But did you know that we got all that pork from China? I didn't.
well, I had heard that they had actually bypassed, like they could process chickens in China and then ship them back. I thought that was a problem. I think if you produce, and I guess they're trying to take up the chicken production too, poultry production, which is weird because that's the center for a lot of the diseases and viruses that are coming out of China.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, you can't control the United States can't control how those birds were raised.
right. I mean,
I can't inspect China. Yeah, they can inspect them, but I'm sure China's going to say you got to come during the hours I tell you.
right. And if okay, you bring them in here, if there's anything that infected, they're already here. So it's likelihood they want to just throw everything. How many of the units are going to, well, not units, but the sampling, how many every 15th bird, every 20th bird. I mean, there's a lot of leeway in there. It's something who is infected by something can be passed through to the food supply system of the, I mean, it's just, we have, if they have regulations for a reason here, then why are they bringing it from a source that those are no longer in place? That doesn't make sense to me. If that's such an overarching concern of them is the health and safety, it doesn't. They're scared, I guess, to stand up to the Chinese and say, no, we're not going to allow you to do this. We're going to step up our own production.
Well, I mean, when you're cutting your own throat, your own financial throat by giving them so much rope
Right.
that they can pull it in at any time and raise the prices on everything. I mean, it's a good thing for corporations that sell that same thing here. They're going to make money hand over fist
Right. I just don't.
at our expense.
It's always about money, and it's like you go back to the situation going on in Venezuela. You go to the situation of all these wars around the world. If you go deep enough, you're going to find it's all about money.
But I didn't think I'd wake up and this would happen.
No, I didn't.
Going back to that, but
I think it's like all I can say is like my hostility level towards Trump is greatly diminished if he delivers to these people.
if the people of Venezuela actually do receive some of this
Right.
$15 billion that was released.
Yeah, if that all happens, but I mean, basic. And another thing is, I think it's weird, and this is used from the conservatives. If you start actually consider putting yourself in the people's position of those other countries, they think you're stupid, and they go after you about being unpatriotic. And I think that's stupid. I mean, I look at it this way: if I were, how would I react if this was happening to me? I don't see how that's left or right. I think that's just being human. I think that's a way of how would I react if this were happening to my country, my people. I don't think it's wrong to ask that because that's
But after researching this, I think the people of generally of Venezuela are happy that this happened.
and that's like I said. Let's just keep the pressure on him to make sure that or his administration all this happens, all the good stuff, the release of the funds and the aid goes to the people.
Okay, now what are your thoughts on Cuba
I mean,
if they did this same thing in Cuba?
well, I mean, well, see, I don't know. I can say this because the situation was ongoing when I was a kid already. Those stuff.
Hell yeah, before.
You see, I think if we had more normalized relations with Cuba, the Castros and the communists would not have been in power as long. Because what you did is you isolated them, and then they did have support initially from the Soviet Union for years until that fell.
Well, I think part of it is it's the families that were involved in Cuba.
Yeah, the people that had to flee Castro.
No, I'm talking about the organized crime
With
the casinos
Oh, yeah.
and everything that was going on. I think that was part of the reasons that they toppled it was to hurt them
yeah, and
because they were players back then.
let's face it, there was a good side to what the mobs brought. I mean, the wealth. They brought in a lot of wealth, a lot of entrepreneurship and all that. But look at it was still foreigners running in other countries, basically choosing the government.
It was most of the decisions were made from Italy.
Right. So I mean, it's like the problem is, I mean,
We've always had some kind of influence
well, look at
on our country.
every country in the world pretty much has had some connections or been created by, like, say, mercantile groups like the East India Company and all that stuff, and the people from the West meeting the people from these other countries, exploiting the resources.
It's always been money.
It's always been about money. It's always been about
money and resources.
And that's like, and it's what the resources or what desired objects are. Like years ago, it used to be spices.
I mean, look how vicious the fur trade was.
Oh yeah, it was violent.
People don't know, man. A lot of people died because of the fur trade.
Wherever greed.
And the slavery that went on to process the furs, they didn't care about those people that they forced to do that.
They put exposing the
The chemicals that they had to reach into,
and that
a
hasn't
lot of people died.
changed much. Look at I mean, look at this
No, we just
corporations,
do foreign countries now
right?
and use their people, and it's away from the United States, so nobody cares.
Right. I mean, it's like the raw material, the computerization, computers and stuff, making of the parts and stuff
It's
it's
nasty,
nasty. It's toxic. It's got stuff that sticks around
but
for
because
years.
it's made in a foreign country,
It's like
nobody cares.
basically you can ignore it. They ignore it. I mean, you can be ignored. So it's all about money. But then again, I don't want to go the route of being the leftist. If there's
It's
similar,
not left.
it's not.
It's you're
Yeah.
thinking about people,
Right. That's what I'm saying
and
though.
that's what they want to do. They want you to think of foreigners as non-human.
That's exactly. I've been attacked by people when I bring up like, well, the Palestinians. Well, they're all terrorists. That's a broad spectrum, and I hate being that because I grew up. If once I did like
Especially if you're a Christian.
yeah, that's I've always been puzzled how Christians in this country can back Israel when Israel has
Or
nothing but
any
contempt for a
country.
country that has this
That
attitude
has
towards Christians.
and human rights
But
violations.
yeah, so you're supposed to be concerned about humans as humans. As a Christian, well, it's okay. Wave that flag and just bring up that music louder. We'll ignore that. I can't do that.
And say that they're the chosen people
Yeah.
because the Bible tells us so, and Ted Cruz
Yeah,
tells us so.
And they can't even cite the Bible verse adequately or clearly or in context. And he's like, the man he tries to seem
talking
pious.
about Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz. He tries to seem pious. He doesn't even know the scripture that he's citing, and it's not.
He just knows he was taught that in Bible school when he was a kid.
I think you should examine everything they're told. I mean, all education is indoctrination initially. It's up to you to change it into education. If it's true, then it should be education. If it's not true, then it should be dismissed as attempts
Well, I
to
mean, that's what you
indoctrinate.
got to look at the Bible as non-bendable laws and truths.
Right.
You can't change it or reinterpret it to fit whatever context of the day that you feel it needs.
That's exactly it. You got to put it. You put it in the context it was in, and look at it now. There's some things by your standards today, you're going to not agree with. But I'd say I still agree with more biblical standards than I would say the modern standards. And the modern standards, the standards of the Bible for me, for the New Testament at least,
Well,
is I should question what my government's doing to other people in other countries.
and a lot of things that people have problems with are in the Old Testament,
Right.
and not the New Testament.
Yeah, it's like they say, well, another thing is this thing people say, well, you believe in the God of the Old Testament. I believe in the New Testament God. The New Testament
It's
God
a New
loves everybody.
Testament for a reason.
Well, but the thing is, God doesn't change. They try to say that the Old Testament of God is more judgmental and harsh.
He's still the same person.
It's the same, but there's
Or
more
same person.
there's more judgment in the New Testament, like coming down at you if you don't do this, and more of the pronouncements of judgment in the New Testament than there is in the Old. I mean, so they don't obviously have never read the Bible if they had that view. I mean, they don't. They just as soon as somebody says that, I roll my eyes. And
It's
say, "You never
called
read
the New
Bible."
Testament for a reason.
Right, because the old one didn't work out. The old one did not work out. This is the newer and better, it says. So I go back to that. I use that
The New Covenant and the New Testament.
New Testament, and it says newer and better covenant. It says that right in Scripture. I mean, look in the New Testament. So I just had the Ted Cruz. If you ever listen to this, and I know you're not, because look how he reacted when Tucker Carlson brought up that point. He just got angry. It's like you're not buying. I'm saying this, and you're tearing it apart. Well, you don't know what you're saying, there, Ted. You don't. You don't know the context.
And even Tucker Carlson explained later on that he wasn't a Bible expert at the time either.
No, but it's like,
but he knew enough to know what Ted Cruz was saying was untrue.
Yeah, I've had friends of mine who are marginally, some are agnostic, but when somebody says that stuff, like, well, you got to support Israel, it's in the Bible, they'll say, where? They're being genuine about it, and they can't. These people saying that can't bring it. They bring up that chapter 12 or chapter 13 of Genesis, and that's it. This is it. That's
What's
Abraham.
The quote?
Yeah, well, I'll bless those that bless those, and curse those that curse thee. And it's a promise to Abraham, and they'll say it's to Israel. No, it's not.
It's Abraham. Or Abraham's name wouldn't be in there, right?
Right. It's to Abraham, and then later on, Judah come about, and Judah. I mean, not Judah, but was Jacob, and then later his name was changed to Israel. That was one of his descendants, but
that was after the fact.
After the fact, it was, and guess what? Even if it were the case, what to those people, it's fulfilled in the New Testament because the world is now reconciled through the people of the Jews and the Jewish people through their teaching, to the teaching that came to them through God. So you venerate the creator, not the people who are receivers of the creation. That's what it is. And that's what they've inversed this. The dispensationalists reverse that. They venerate the people like there's some people who are stuck in a time capsule and they're these perfect models of morality. They're not. They're flawed human beings. And they reject Christ. And if you're a Christian, that's supposed to be the dead giveaway if you're not supposed to be following them. You know?
No, if you reject Christ, then you're no friend of mine.
Right. I mean, it's true. I mean, it's a good thing that we'll look
I
at
mean,
it.
you can be agnostic
Right.
all day and not believe in God. That's one thing.
Right.
But to vehemently disagree with Jesus Christ, that's a whole different thing.
It's exactly. I mean, it's
And they disagree that he was what he was.
and yeah, but they're still waiting for something. And then another thing is I'd like to
And
ask.
that's what I don't understand is why all these Christians want to help with their own demise.
It's like this one guy said it succinctly: "Our Messiah already came. That's Jesus. Jews are waiting for Messiah, and they're going. When that happens, they're going to basically, if you look at it, that's their Messiah. It's going to be our Antichrist
And
because
it's going to destroy the world.
Destroy the world and murder a lot of Jewish people. I mean, I don't see how that's being friends to Jewish people by saying Christ, and you got to accept Christ because this guy that you want to pin your hopes to is going to destroy you. Okay, I don't see how that's being a friend to them.
It's like loading the gun
It's
that's
like-
going to shoot you.
Yeah, it's like okay, yeah.
I'll put the bullets. I got them.
I got it. Cool, man. I even paid for them for you. I mean, it's stupid. Here, you're going towards the cliff. Just keep on going faster. I want to see if you can clear this.
And then just let me go.
Yeah, I just think it's
Because you're a better human being. You should live.
yeah, it doesn't make sense to me, people. And if somebody could from the dispensation camp want to call in sometime in another show, we'll set up. Tell me how you can interpret it and make sense out of that. Please, I'll love to hear it. Okay,
And with that, I
we'll
think,
play the music.
yeah.
Okay.